Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, Jay Fallon, Slippery Slope. How you going? Sorry for the husky voice. I did a bit of fishing on the weekend, went out the boat, and ended up very sick. I haven't gotten seasick for a long time. Spent the whole time, like 4 or 5 hours vomiting. Ruined my voice completely. But anyway, it was me. We still got managed to. When I say we, not me. I was way too sick, but the other boys still got some fish, so still got to eat some Spanish mackerel yesterday. It was very, very nice. Uh, anyway, I'm not here to talk about fishing, even though it is good in the Whitsundays to go fishing. This story, look, it's not really the one I want to talk about. It's not really a slippery slope story. This, maybe I should start a new section and just call it what the flip stories. Uh, let's go through this. I read a little bit about this the other day, and I just thought, oh, this is crazy. And I was talking about it with a mate of mine. I used to work with in the QPS in surveillance. We were discussing it, just neither of us, going through it, going, what is going on? And I read it, and I thought, you know what? If I ever get charged with something, this is the lawyer. This is the lawyer that I want. This guy here. So this headline here, if you can see this, you should be able to see this. So Gold Coast Mayor Tom Tate will meet councillor charged with murder to discuss political future. Like I said, this isn't really a slippery slope thing. This is more of a what the flip is going on here. So Tom Tate was elected as Gold Coast City Council Mayor in 2012. He did not anticipate dealing with a councillor being charged with murder during his tenure in public office. But in the coming days, he will meet Division 7 Councillor Ryan Bolden Lumsden for the first time since the 30-year-old was charged last week over the death of his stepfather. Police found the body of Robert Lumsden, who was 58, inside an Arundel home on August the 23rd. So Councillor Bolden Lumsden was granted conditional bail in the Supreme Court on Thursday after spending 8 days behind bars. Justice Lincoln Crowley ordered a $250,000 surety, saying he was satisfied the councillor's continued detention in jail was not justified. So in other words, he's fairly positive he's not going to kill anyone else. He's got it out of his system. Following the bail decision, Councillor Tate said that Councillor Bolden Lumsden would remain in his position and continue to be paid as a councillor. Look, innocent until proven guilty, I suppose, but, to be able to keep your position getting paid in the public purse while being under the cloud of being charged with murder, that's pretty next level. So he said he wrote to local government minister and acting premier Steve Miles last week asking for advice. Goes on to say, my view has always been that he's innocent until proven guilty. So right now as a councillor, and he'll do his best to operate as a councillor. Under Section 122 of Local Government Act, the minister has the power to suspend, dismiss a councillor in the interest of public safety and those sorts of things, or he does nothing. Spokesman for Miles said legal advice is being sought on the situation. Councillor Tate said he would attempt to meet the councillor in the upcoming days to discuss his future. I'm going to give him room for a couple of days. Very understanding boss here. Going to give him some room for a couple of days. Got that little charge of murder hanging over his head. Then I'll reach out for a bit of coffee with him to see what he wants to do. Wow. How's this? But he will be allowed to see his mother and sister socially, as long as they do not discuss the deceased or the alleged murder. Sometimes you do wonder how out of touch are judges, magistrates, and that kind of thing, where they think that, oh yeah, well, we'll let you go, but hey, the other two people who have a big part to play in this one. Maybe not physically they've had a part, but it affected their life very much so. Don't discuss the elephant in the room, the fact that you murdered husband and stepfather. Don't discuss that. Discuss everything else. So of course, that's absolutely going to happen. Just they seem so naive. Look, what makes this more interesting is what details this article goes into. This headline here from the ABC News: this council obviously is charged with murdering stepfather, released on bail after urgent hearing. So here is his lawyer, his legal representative. So a Gold Coast councillor accused of murdering his stepfather is to be released immediately. Justice Crowley ordered a 250,000 surety, saying he's satisfied. Obviously, the 30-year-old continued detention was not justified, arguing why the 30-year-old should be released on bail pending any committal hearing. Barrister Craig Eberhardt, KC, told the court the accused lived at home in what was a dysfunctional, toxic relationship characterized as malignant, narcissistic abuse. Isn't it funny? I bet you none of this, when he was going up for the election, none of this would have come up. He would have been putting forward this perfect family situation in all their advertising and all their promotional activity that was going out there. It would have been, hey, look at us. I come from a great family, supportive mother, supportive stepfather. But when he's charged with murder, I know it's dysfunctional, toxic relationship, malignant, narcissistic. It gets even better, but so Eberhardt said his client intends to plead not guilty. Okay. He said that in the councillor's police interview, which ran for nearly 3 hours, he sobbed as he spoke of how his stepfather, 58-year-old Robert Lumsden, controlled, manipulated, dominated, humiliated, abused, and threatened him for years. Mind you, this 30-year-old man still lives at home, still lives with his. Anyway, he told police he recently sought advice from a domestic violence hotline because of his stepfather's increasingly erratic and threatening behavior. That's because you're 30 and you're still living with him. You should have moved out, you clown. He told police, this is the councillor here, this is Ryan. He told police that his stepfather had repeatedly threatened to kill him if he did not do what he was told, that he controlled his finances and relationships. It's a sad sign of our society where you have a 30-year-old who still feels like he's under the thumb of his stepfather. Mr. Bolden Lumsden also told police on the day of the argument he had been belittled for 2 hours and feared for his life. He told police he was concerned his stepfather had access to a kitchen knife, which is, I mean, who would have thought that? You're living in a house which has a kitchen, so he was concerned he had access to a kitchen knife. Anyway, during the altercation, and that he wanted to restrain him. He said he wanted him to pass out so he could get away from him. So instead of just, moving out the door, walking out the door, no, I'm just going to restrain him first and hope that he passes out first. Because, I'm 28 years younger than him, but what else can I do? The court heard that 2 days before, this is where it gets interesting. This is why I'm saying this is more of a what the flip story. The court heard that 2 days before the fatal argument, the councillor, as in Ryan, Googled previous cases where people accused of murder put forward arguments of self-defense and received a reduced sentence. So 2 days before he decided to defend himself from his stepfather, he Googled what happens to people that kill people and put forward an argument of self-defense. So already you're sitting there going, might be a little bit of premeditation going on here. But the lawyer, now this is, if you ever get into serious trouble, I think you need to look up this lawyer because he's already onto it. So Mr. Eberhardt said they included questions like, if you kill someone in self-defense, will you go to jail? This is 2 days before he killed him. 2 days before, he went through Google and said, if you kill someone in self-defense, will you go to jail? And yet this fellow's trying to say, hey, no, it's not premeditated. He told the court He told the court all the searches were done within a 5-minute period and argued the searches were consistent with his inquiries to a domestic violence service because he feared for his safety. The lawyer goes on to say, this is a quote, police often put more weight on these things than they deserve. Those silly police, they often look into these, how silly of police to look at someone's search history and going, oh, a couple of days before they killed that person, they were looking up whether they could get away with killing that person if they said, hey, it was all self-defense. He goes on to say, these searches cannot prove any intention at all. Wow. Like I said, it's not really a slippery slope thing. This is just it's for my own inquisitive mind, being, ex-police and all that, or what the flip story is going on. I mean, what the heck? You've got this councillor accused of murder. He's 30 years old. He still lives with his family. He's obviously mum and stepfather. Stepfather is supposedly very abusive, apparently, allegedly, very abusive. 30 years old. He works as a councillor, earning, I'll look up how much he actually earned. So here we go. A regular councillor will receive $141,791. 141 grand. That's it's not a bad pay. 30 years old, living with his mother and stepfather and sister, maybe mother and stepfather, still living at home. He's on a wage of 140, over 100 grand. He's still living at home. He's looking up self-defense. He's looking up basically, can I get away with murdering people if I claim self-defense? Like I said, it's not really a slippery slope story. It's just what the flip is going on in this world. It piques my interest anyway. It'll be interesting to see what goes on here. Let me know what you reckon. Do you really think, have a look at the story. Do you really think this is a defense? You can look up someone 2 days earlier. You can look up a story on whether you can get away with murdering someone if you claim self-defense. And then your lawyer comes out and says, hey, police often put more weight on these things than they deserve. I tell you what, if I ever get into serious trouble, this is the lawyer who I want on my side. Anyway, let me know what you reckon. It's just my opinion. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize. Gonna set on the clouds and tears. No sign. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Nothing's gonna stop me now. No more deals to be done. No more selling out my soul just to focus on the goal. Nothing's gonna stop me now. Nothing's gonna hold me down. Got my eye on the prize. Gonna set on